Hi, my name is Santiago Valencia. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm reviewing the movie and the music of Abominable. This featured animated movie is about a magical yeti from the Himalayas who is captured by a Chinese corporation. During this escape, it befriends a little girl named Yi and her two friends Ping and Jen. And the adventure begins in getting the magical yeti safely back to its home on Mount Everest. Written by Jill Colton and directed by Jill Colton and Todd Wilderman, with music by Rupert Gregson Williams. Starring Chloe Bennett, Albert Sy, Tinsing Norway Trainer, plus a lot of other wonderful voice actors in this movie. Immediately I noticed that this movie was absolutely gorgeous. And I mean really beautiful color-wise, design-wise, animation-wise. We've come a long way in digital and computer animation when it comes to these sort of things. Now that being said, I did see it in Burbank, California at a Dolby Theater. Now this Dolby Theater has some spectacular imagery to it, which I'm sure lent to the colors popping off the screen and just the whole experience. And the sound on this thing is just incredible. The reclining seats certainly help as well too. So, I don't like giving spoilers, but I will say that this movie was very, we've seen the story before. We've seen the story with E.T. and other kind of, movies like that as well. But it's still really a great movie, especially for the kids. If you're thinking about taking the kids to this, I would strongly recommend it. They will love you for it. Now let's talk about some of the cons in this movie. I think that possibly that the script itself could have used a little bit more work, especially in the character development of things, and the dialogue. The dialogue at certain times were, a little bit, I think they could have done a little bit better when it came to that. Character development could have used a little bit more too, especially on our main heroine, Yi. She did have a little bit of a backstory, but I would have wanted to see a little bit more of that. They almost teased it as one of the tragedies that she has in her life. They almost teased it like that was going to come to some sort of resolution towards the end of the movie, which didn't exactly happen. But I do think that they did some work on it, but I think they could have done a little bit more. Some of the pros on this, obviously I've already said, the imagery. The imagery was second to none. The colors popped off the screen. It was absolutely gorgeous. There was some great animations, some great cartoon animations for fantasy. We also had some really good villains, actually. We had probably about 2 or 3, maybe even 4 really tight villains on this movie. I think the villains were a little bit stronger, in my opinion, than the heroes, actually. So I didn't have to give it up for the villains. We had some good ones on this one. Now, some of the situations that we'll find ourselves in this movie may be a little over the top, but it's a kids movie, it's an animated movie, so it's totally cool to be a little bit over the top on this as well. The music was, well, we're going to get into the music in a little bit, but it was great, and it really went hand in hand with this movie. Now, that's the one thing I noticed second, actually, from the beautiful imagery, was the music. The music was everywhere on this movie, and it really helped support what was going on screen, helped us feel what the characters were feeling, and gave us a nice little rush when it came to certain action sequences that happened during the movie. So if you're considering taking the kids to this movie, I would highly recommend that. I mean, they will love it. They'll fall in love with the Yeti. They're probably going to want some big plushy toy after the movie, of course. But it was great. It was a great little adventure and a wonderfully put together movie that would certainly stand up to a lot of other animated classics that we have in today's day. All right, score time. So from an adult point of view, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10, okay? But from a kid point of view, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. So we can average it out at 8 if you want to. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of funny moments for the kids to laugh at. The music will hug them throughout the whole movie. That will just completely bring them into the picture. All right, that is my movie review for the movie Abominable. Check it out now. It is in theaters. Would I buy this movie once it comes out on iTunes or on DVD? I actually would. I would actually add it to my collection. So enjoy it if you're going to go see it, and stick around where we're going to talk a little bit more about the music of the movie Abominable. Okay, let's go ahead and talk a little bit deeper about the music of Abominable. Music was by Rupert Gregson Williams, and he really did a fantastic job on this movie. It is the second thing I noticed about the movie right away. The music was an orchestral score. It really brought us into the movie pretty much immediately from the first escape scene on the movie. It really just let us know what we were going to get ourselves into musically. Now, as the movie progressed, the funny thing about it was that there was a lot of music. I mean, it was wall-to-wall music on this movie. And at first I'm like, well, is that too much music? I mean, it was almost comical in how much music there was in this movie. But as time went on, I didn't really seem to mind it. Logically speaking, I would think, well, that's just too much music. It's just all over the place. But it really worked for the movie. It really, really did. It never let you go. It kept you in the movie, into the story, and kept you closer to the characters. So I think the music did a great job. Even though there was a lot of it, it really did a great job of bringing us into the story. Now, there were some great melodies on this, there was some great orchestrations, but by far the star was the solo violin. In the movie, the girl Yi plays the violin, so they kind of worked that into the story and worked that into the music as well. Now, this was kind of, an American movie. They had a lot of American style film score that we're used to, but they put a lot of hints of Chinese intervals and Chinese modes in there. The featured violinist on this was Cleo Gould, Thomas Gould, and Tom Pigot Smith. Now, there were two pop songs in the soundtrack, one by Baby Rexha and another one by Phil Boudreau. Now, the orchestration was very, very lush, very classic film score, which I absolutely love. It enriched the film and the characters and took us from beginning to end very, very smoothly. Now, there was a nice balance between the cartooning effect, and if you don't know what the cartooning effect is in music, it's kind of when we follow musically our character. So if someone's kind of like, skipping or tiptoeing, you'll hear like maybe some pizzicato, strings going bump, 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 sort of thing. So it's kind of mimicking and following the actions of our cartoon. So that's what we call cartooning in musical terms. So there was a nice balance between the cartooning effect in music and just having a beautiful, lush score. So they did a really, really nice balance between the two. Now, I do think that this score does deserve a listen to on its own with no movie, just listening to it. And you can find it on Spotify, and the link is below, but if you're just going to type it in, you'll find it under Abominable Original Motion Picture Soundtrack. Abominable Original Motion Picture Soundtrack. And again, the link is below for you to listen to that directly. Okay, score time. I would definitely give this score an 8 out of 10 for the movie. It did a fantastic job. The themes aren't maybe as memorable, and you're not going to necessarily walk away humming any of the themes, but it really, really did a great job for the movie and for the characters in Abominable. Have you seen this movie already? What did you think? Go ahead and let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you'd like to see some more videos on songwriting, film scoring, and movies. Until then, my name is Santiago Valencia. Thank you so much for stopping by, and until next time, it's been a real slice. Take care.